Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Nerd for No Reason podcast. I am one of your fantastic hosts, Mark.
And I'm Raven. And together, we make up
Nerd for No Reason.
Perfect. No
I love
notes.
it. That will never get old. Never.
What's going on, man? How's it going?
It's been like 2 weeks. I've been super busy. Literally every day just runs into the next. I had a mild crisis at work. I literally can't remember if it was this week or last week. It was last week. It was. Wow.
Dude.
It legitimately seems like it was 3 days ago. I got an email. It was like, hey, what's up with this project you're working on? Like, do you have a status? Can you update us? And I was like, I'm not doing this. This other guy's doing this. And he was like, no, I'm working with him on this other thing. And then I realized that they are named almost the same thing, but slightly different. And in reality, this other guy, who's a real good friend of mine at work, should probably be working both of these things because they're so very similar. But I'm working one, he's working the other. And yeah, I was like, oh, crap, this is a separate thing that I have actually worked on, and I have absolutely no recollection of it. I spent like an hour trying to re-jog my memory. And after, just so happens one of my bosses came in. He's like, is everything okay in here? Just doing a random check-in on everything. And I was like, I think I'm having a little bit of an existential crisis here, dude. Like, I genuinely don't remember anything about this program. None. And he was like, you need help? I'm like, not yet, but maybe. So keep tabs on me. Yeah, it's, dude.
Dang.
Yeah, they got me just working my butt off. So.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that I'm like, at least I'm glad I don't have an office job to be like, ugh. But then I have, chaotic dogs that I literally go, how do you even exist? One of the other groomers, she had a brand new doodle, and like we were all talking about it in the parking lot. It was like first thing in the morning that she had this dog. It was 1 year old, and what kind of doodle was it? Oh, it was an Irish doodle. So it's an Irish setter mixed with a poodle. And she gets to the house. She talks with the mom about like what we're doing with the cut. She gets it in the van, closes the door, and before she can even take its collar off, it starts having a seizure on her.
Oh.
Yeah, the dog is 1 year old, has yet to have a full proper groom, and like anytime it goes to the groomer or it goes to the vet, it has a seizure because it has so much anxiety. And the lady didn't say anything about it to like the scheduler or the groomer. And it's like, we totally get dogs that have seizures. And it's an important thing to like be like, hey, just so you know, this might happen. This could happen. We put them on medication, blah, blah, blah. No, this lady totally did not tell them because she had been to so many other groomers and her dog would have a seizure and they couldn't finish the groom. So she was like, let's just see how far it gets. Like, that's the kind of crazy that we get. And she, like, the groomer was literally like, I don't know what the fuck is happening. Dog's just spasming. And so she has to, like, call, like, our scheduler to be like, hey, I need you to call the parent, tell them their dog is having a seizure. And, of course, she was like, I was sweating so bad because I wasn't mentally prepared for the possibility of a dog having a seizure. And like, we have the vans where you like slide open the door on the side and slide it back. So there's like that little dip where you kind of like step up, and the dog had like fallen into it. And so She was waiting for the seizure to stop so she could yank the dog back and then eventually like open the door for the mom to take it out. It was a whole thing. It
Dang.
was, and like, yeah, people are like, oh, you just get to play with puppies all day. And it's like, no, we have to deal with dipshit owners that don't want to like tell us stuff and stress us out. But for the most part,
All right, let
that's
me
very
let me
rare.
let me ask you this question: as a dog owner of a super hyper goofball of a dog, is what would you recommend before I take her to a groomer, the vet, something like that, to just calm my dog down? Because you know, Sasha, that the second she sees someone's new, she's like, "Oh my god, I gotta play with somebody." Because
Yeah.
my dad came over yesterday, yeah, yesterday, and he's come over here a couple times in the past couple weeks or so, and Sasha's just like, "Yeah, buddy," and my dad is just like, "Get this damn dog, get her
Oh, of
down,"
course.
and I'm just like, "Shut up, she's fine. Just pet her. If you pet her, she'll leave you alone." And he's just like, so so
Bro. God
so
bless him.
so what can I is there like
She's
what would you
still
recommend?
really young, and considering that she's a bulldog, she's going to have a lot of energy for a good few years. Like, some people, they're like, oh, so like after like two, they say they slow down. And I'm like, it does not always mean that. I would take my dog Lily to the dog park when she was 10, and she was over there running around with all these like young dogs, and people would literally like start talking to me and like talking about like our dogs and whatnot, and I'd be like, yeah, she's 10, and they were literally like, what? How's your dog over there like sprinting with these little babies as fast as she is? Some dogs, they just like chill out after a while, and some dogs, they stay a little crazy. I would probably recommend maybe just like talking to your vet to be like, yo, maybe if we had like something for when company comes over to kind of just like ease her a little bit, you know? But yeah, she doesn't need to be like heavily sedated. Because some people do have to give their dogs like a pretty good amount of like anti-anxiety medications because their dogs are like crazy, absolutely insane. I need to
What?
probably get Mudslide on like an anti-anxiety medication because this little guy refuses to like, if we don't go to one specific area of grass at our apartment complex, he won't use the bathroom. Like, he will not
Oh,
poop. If he hears like cars or like people outside, he gets super anxious. And I'm like, dude, we've lived here for over a year. You know what's going on. It's all good. And he's just like, Mom, pick me up. I'm so scared. It's just one of those things, man.
that's
Some
wild.
dogs are chill and some dogs are not.
So, speaking of dogs, Alice brought this up to me, and you're the only dog expert I can think of that might actually have an answer to this question. She asked, "What dog would I consider to be a quote unquote northern breed of dogs?" She's like, "If I move up north, what dog would be a good dog to have? Like, what would be a northern breed of dog? Like, would it be a husky?" And I'm like, "Don't ever get a husky. Like,
Dude,
you're not ready for a husky."
no. To be like a first time on your own, Huskies are not the dog to go for.
No.
I mean, they're great dogs, but they have like such a superiority complex. Them and Malamutes both. They're great dogs, but they're like, if I don't want to do something, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
Kavik pretends that he can't hear us all the time. We'll say his name, but as soon as we open like, you know, some kind of snack, he's like, oh, hello? And it's like, you were all the way upstairs. How did you hear this, but you don't hear me calling your name when you're 3 feet away? Um, I think like good northern dogs, like you said, huskies and malamutes, they're really good for like snow. So if you go somewhere that's like heavily snowed in the winter, those are good. Uh, Saint Bernards, Pyrenees, um, Bernese Mountain Dogs, like all those I would think
Oh
would be
yeah.
good. Like Bernese Mountain Dogs are so great. One of our groomers has two of them, and those girls are so sweet. And any Bernese Mountain Dog I've ever met, they're just like so nice and like good dogs. But yeah, there's plenty other dogs that like would be good for stuff like that. But yeah, is she
Now,
thinking of moving up north now?
I mean, we're all talking about moving up north.
Fair
What about
enough.
what about southern dogs? And I was like, surely like a hound dog.
Oh
Like that's the
yeah,
only one I could think would be like, something you could use as like a bird dog, hunting dog type of thing. And I
yeah.
don't know the particular breeds, but yeah.
Well, there's so many dogs that their original use essentially was to be bred for specific types of like we go hunting, we go like fishing, we have herds of cattle and stuff. Like there's so many working class dogs, and that's a big thing. And for a lot of reasons now, most people just get dogs because, they just get dogs. But uh for me, I feel like a good southern dog would just be like a chihuahua, honestly.
Now see,
I told Christy,
we said that was a West Coast dog. We said that was clearly like a California dog.
dude, people out here love their chihuahuas, and I'm not gonna lie, I love me a good chihuahua. I literally told Chris the other day, I was like, some people might hate it, but I'm gonna say it. I think chihuahuas are the best dog. And most groomers are like, dude, I hate chihuahuas because they're just little shits and they want to bite. And I'm like, okay, so I grew up with chihuahuas, so I'm like, why not? Uh, because they're tiny, they're low maintenance, stuff like that. But beagles are definitely big
Yep.
in the South. They're also another one of the forms of hunting dogs. You've got so many different types of like coonhounds. Uh, Dachshunds were even bred to be like they could get under like small little things or go through like hollow trees to like help you dig out a bunch of animals and stuff. Even corgis can be working dogs.
Mm.
It's crazy. Like when you like think about so many dogs and how they were like bred to like act a certain way, be a certain way, and like look a certain way. Where you
Well,
get the like King Cavalier or the King Charles Cavaliers, where they literally have the eyes that are like, hello, give me every cent you own. I'm a good dog. And I would, because I'd be like, those eyes make me say yes.
we were talking because Bluey is such a prominent
Yeah.
thing in our house. We um, she said like, "Oh, what kind of dog?" And Amy was immediately like, "Bluey," and I said, "No, no, do not get a blue heeler. Like, you know, don't get anything that requires you to work that dog.
Yeah.
Sasha is the max that we can handle. I couldn't imagine having like a border collie or a Malinois or a heeler or something
Dude.
that is like actively has to herd things or work or it's just going to destroy everything. That's kind of what Sasha is. If
Yeah.
she's not active. I was trying to take a nap today and this bitch hopped up in my bed. I was asleep for like maybe 10 minutes. Hopped up in the bed and then like kind of like does this kind of fast twitching thing where she's like, huh, what, and
Oh, yeah.
I was like, what do you want, dog? And I thought that she needed to go outside, and I get up, and the second my feet hit the ground, it was like, no, it's playtime. She's like looking at me like, are we gonna go outside and play in the water? Because that's why I got you up. I mean,
Oh,
she was
bless her.
whining and everything. I was like, dog, me and you about to fight? We about
Dude,
to
you got to
fight.
get one of those treadmills that she can just run on.
Oh, I'd love to get her on that. I would love just to see what she does. Just to
There's
run.
another, yeah, just to run.
Yep.
Just run her into the ground.
Just to see if I could find the end of her energy.
And then by the
'Cause-
next day, she's like, here we go again.
Yeah.
Essentially. Yeah. No, there's another groomer in our complex. She's literally like a street over, and she has a Belgian Malinois. It's also certified to help with shoot, why am I blanking on the name? But like the dogs that like go out and smell for like decomposition and like human remains. Her dog is capable of doing that stuff. And at some point she was like posting on like Facebook to be like, can anyone like come walk my dog during the days? I just really need to get him super active. And she does the like thing where she hooks him up and he goes running. He's a smart boy. Those dogs are so smart. And like my best friend has a giant German Shepherd, and whenever like if it's raining outside and they can't go play ball with her, she's like depressed because she's just like, but I need to do something and we need to go play ball, but it's raining and I don't like the rain. So yeah, I get you. If you want a low maintenance dog, what you probably need to get is like something that will probably end up to be a little pudgy dog. Because you guys have the like Americanized,
Well, we had.
right?
Well, we
Isn't she?
had our previous dogs. One was a bulldog, an American
Yeah.
bulldog, and they were a sister combo, and they were an American bulldog mixed with a Catahoula.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And these were the absolute most low rent dogs, which is weird because they're both sides of them. Like an American Bulldog, a lot of energy. Catahoula, that's a hunting dog, you
Yeah.
know. Like, but these dogs were the absolute laziest dogs, and it was wonderful. I didn't have to worry about them. They were so low maintenance. You know, we'd play for like 5-10 minutes when I got home from work, and that was it. They would sleep all day, all the time, and you know, both of them, like one of them essentially old age and the other one was cancer. So, I mean, we didn't have hardly any health problems. Like, I think one of them fought a raccoon one time. Maybe.
Nice.
I don't know. That cost me about $800 in stitches and x-rays.
Ooh.
But no. And then we got Sasha a week after one of the other dogs passed away, and I was like, cool, it's time to just chill out, and you know,
Yeah, right.
we're not going to worry about dogs no more, big dogs. We're just going to focus on this little one, and we'll be fine. And then a week later, we get Sasha, and I'm like, oh crap, you know.
Yeah.
And she's full of personality. I love that dog to death. I've sung her praises many times on this podcast, but man, she is wound tight.
Yeah. Mudslide's actually like a blue heeler dachshund mix. And so he definitely does have like that drive to like want to play a lot. So he's honestly like the first dog I've ever had that actually like enjoys playing with toys and stuff. And he's got a few different like toys that he likes to play on rotation. So one's like on the bed in the spare room where he like hangs out during the day when we're gone. There's one like on the floor here in the living room, and there's one in the bedroom. But he will take them and literally like sling them like he's trying to end, like if they were a live animal, he would be breaking their necks. And I saw him do that as a puppy, and I was like, ooh, yeah, we got a fenced in backyard for you. We ain't playing that game. Because yeah, no, he does like to play. Like, we'll come inside and he's instantly like, I'm gonna go play with my toys, and he's throwing them in the air and catching them and like slinging them. But then he also is like a big baby and just wants to lay down and cuddle with me most of the time. So he's like a weird little mixture of like that high drive, but also like he definitely has the dachshund diet, that's for sure. Where they will literally just eat themselves till like they feel like they're gonna explode. But yeah.
All right. We gotta stop talking dogs. I know we could sit here for the whole rest of the show and just sit here and be like,
I
you know
always
how cool
can.
dogs are? You know what animal really sucks? Cats. No, I love cats
Wrong.
too. Real quick before we start talking about this week's movie, I wanted to talk to you about some game trailers I saw that are really funny to me. Most notably, the Goat Simulator remaster that
Oh God, yeah.
just tickled the hell out of me. Because I don't know if you noticed in that trailer that it was, as the guy is walking through the prison thing, they're all like kind of failed remasters or games that were remastered, and then it was like, oh yeah, you clearly missed the mark on this.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool. I have yet to play any of the Goat Simulator games, but this trailer alone made me kind of want to be like, oh yeah, I guess I got to play it. Because I think it's on Game Pass or something where I can get it, you know,
Yeah.
essentially for free. So,
Yeah, I haven't played it, but it does look pretty fun. I think it would be a good time.
another one, speaking of dogs, dog talk, dog talk. Apparently, it looks like a dog spy action game called Barkhor. Is this what we're doing now?
Yeah. You know, people want to be their pets. They want to see what the crazy stuff is going on in their dog's life. Imagine if your dog was a spy. Well,
Is this like the adult version of Paw Patrol? Because that's honestly what I thought as I was watching it.
yeah. That one looks pretty interesting. I would definitely watch someone play it. I don't know if I don't know. I feel like it could be an interesting game to play, but I think it has to tickle your fancy, probably.
Yeah. And the last one, the one that I am probably the most excited to talk about, or at least to play, is Squirrel with a Gun.
Dude.
This looks like it is right up my alley. Let's just be absurd for absurd's sake, and let's do it.
I am so excited for this game to come out. I've literally been tippy-toe excited, happy clapping every time that I see a trailer for it come up, or that it's getting closer to being released. I want to play this stupid game so bad. It's so ridiculous, but it looks so fun. And it's just a cute little squirrel, and somehow he just has a little gun on him.
He's out for justice.
Yeah. That's what he's doing.
So, all right. Let's talk about this week's movie, because I have big feelings about this movie.
Ooh.
This week's movie, we are breaking down Amazon Prime's new movie, Jackpot, starring Aquafina and John Cena, and that rhymes. Yeah. I was really debating on whether or not if I wanted to make a joke about Aquafina was starring it's just her in the movie, no one else. Blah blah blah. Like make some type of invisible John Cena joke.
We love to see it, but we
or
can't.
not see it. God, we're terrible.
Dude, I love those stupid John Cena jokes.
I love them too.
I probably wasn't a big fan of John Cena for a good while, but now I'm yo, he seems pretty alright. And I like that he's into the memes and stuff. and we'll definitely like break down his goofiness in this movie.
He very much seems like the kind of guy who is in on the joke. Like he understands like the whole can't see me thing. Like wrestling in general, even though it's a job and it's meant to be taken seriously, and they do a lot of good work and they're very athletic and all of this other serious stuff about wrestling, but also there's a lot of camp to it,
Yeah.
and he understands that, plays that, and it's like, yeah, it's kind of a little silly, and that's okay, you know. So Raven, let me go ahead and ask you, what did you think of Jackpot?
I think that this was a very interesting movie. When you told me about it, you were like, you want to do this movie? I was like, yeah, okay. I had no idea what this movie was about. I didn't know anything. First of all, I did look it up to be like, what is this? And then I was upset that you were going to make me watch something with Machine Gun Kelly.
You know what?
But
I
like,
accept your scorn.
but like, honestly, I think it was like John Cena and Aquafina were a pretty good fit to do a fun little movie together. But also, I really just like that John Cena's like this happy, fun guy that's just like he's really silly with this character, and I really enjoy that because you don't see that very much of John Cena. It's mostly him like, I'm big tough man. I can break your face with just gripping my biceps around it. I don't know, some shit like that. So yeah. Was this your first time watching it, I assume?
Oh yeah, yes.
Perfect.
It was. He, I agree with you that Aquafina and John Cena are a great combination, and in this movie they work very well together. But I don't think this movie kind of knows what it wants to be.
It was pretty wild, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like there were parts of it that were very funny and kind of like, okay, cool, I see what you're trying to do here. And then, the cinematography or the writing would just kind of get in its own way. And then that kind of took me out of it a little bit. And we'll kind of break it down a little bit more, but I think the IMDb score on this thing is, because I have it pulled up, is a 5.8. And I'm like, yes, that is absolutely right. It is absolutely a 6 movie. 6 out of 10 is absolutely what I would give it. It's not terrible, but it's not really good either. This movie literally falls right in the middle of everything I feel about movies.
Fair enough, yeah.
So, all right, let's go ahead and get into it, because I just want to start off right from the get-go, the very first note that I put in this thing. And I'm ready to accept your scorn to say, yes, Mark, they were literally talking about you here. I put, okay, so we're 10 minutes into the movie, and I haven't been taking notes for whatever reason because it's super early in the morning. But we get the scene where there's a 3D printer and some dude singing the Ninja Turtle song. Fuck this movie all the way. Am I John Cena in this movie?
Yeah,
Yes.
apparently.
Yep.
You're just having a great time keeping someone alive, but also keeping people safe.
Just doing 3D printing stuff and singing ninja rap from the Ninja Turtles movie.
Dude,
yeah.
that one like really cracked me up, that he's legit like busting down to some Ninja Turtles.
I wish that would have been more of kind of a through line through the movie, because he kind of goes back to it at the end where he's like, oh yeah, like I'm Michelangelo or whatever. Like I thought that would have been a cool kind of running theme for him to be like, oh, I'm unsure, but I really like the Ninja Turtles or something, and then at the end be like, I am a Ninja Turtle. I am Donatello or Leonardo or whoever, to be like, kind of let that, because it just kind of seemed like an afterthought. And I thought that would have been a really kind of fun gimmick, because they tried really hard to make it part of his personality, but we didn't really get enough of it.
Yeah, fair enough. The start of this movie was an interesting concept, where, we've fallen into tough times in, what was it, like 2026?
Yeah.
Where they were like, yo, money ain't it right now. Sorry to everyone. We're going to start a jackpot, and then we're going to do a weird purge scene where you can just kill this person and win their jackpot. Which, that was an interesting concept, to be honest, but like at the same time, it's like, well, why not just continue to let it go, and whoever like wins by killing whoever, like, if you're the first person to kill them, why couldn't someone else kill you? You know? It
Yeah.
was interesting. Also, the location thing was scary. I don't like that. That it
Yeah.
literally was like broadcasting their location. That's screwed up.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. I also got a very much kind of an Idiocracy vibe from this
Yes.
movie too.
Absolutely.
And that's part of this where it was like the movie couldn't figure out what it wanted to be. Because
Yeah.
there was a lot of people that were really dumb, like Idiocracy dumb. And I'm like, man, y'all are really almost kind of too stupid to function. and and then once I saw who directed this movie, I got it. And it's directed by a dude named Paul Feig, Paul Feig. And Paul Feig is responsible also for the all-female Ghostbusters. And while I didn't necessarily mind that movie so much, I did think that Chris Hemsworth in the Ghostbusters movie they gave him too much like free reign. It was him going, hey, I got an idea and I think it would be funny. And they were like, oh, you're right, that is funny. And then that character just ended up being too stupid.
Oh, I never actually watched that one, but that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So, and I feel the same thing with this movie. It was like, we want to show that people are dumb, and then they overcorrect it. And like the roommate and her boyfriend are just idiots. And I'm like, how can you breathe and walk at the same time?
Dude,
so
I feel like I've met people like them, though. And I definitely am like, how do you function? I literally had, when I was working at Regal as the assistant manager, we had these two boys. They were brothers. And I literally told them all the time, I was like, you guys share one single brain cell. And sometimes one of you has it and the other one has it. But sometimes y'all are fighting over it, and there's just nothing going on up there. It got them a lot, because they'd just be like, damn, why you gotta be like that, Raven? I'm like, because you guys are stupid. I love you boys, but you guys are so dumb. How do you even do some of the shit that you do?
Oh, bless your heart.
Yeah, for real. Which my coworker that moved here from Maryland, she's the one with the two Bernies, she just found out what bless your heart means. And our boss, who is my aunt, says it about our scheduler, who is my grandmother, a lot.
That's funny.
And she was like, oh, is it a bad way, or is it the, like, actually endearing way? And I'm like, you never know sometimes with Debbie. She a little like that, but, So, yeah. Very much bless your heart.
Well, John Cena, though. John Cena very much, when he gets into this movie, in probably the most action-packed kind of way someone probably can get into this movie, I think John Cena, like, this was a really good kind of fun, corny movie for him. Just good action. He plays this lovable kind of guy, and I enjoy him in this movie.
Yeah, absolutely. I love when you, like, first see him during the actual movie part, where he literally just drops through a ceiling in a suit,
Yep.
just dusts himself off, and then he just like is like, "Hey, what's up? I'm gonna protect you now. Sign this." And it's like, "I'm giving you a bunch of freebies right now," while also being like very nice as he's trying to like protect this chick, because I really like that about this character, is that he's like, "I'm not trying to actually like hurt you. I just want you to stop trying to beat her up and kill her, because I want some of her profit. Thank you."
Yeah, but the thing that really made me like John Cena's character is I kept waiting for there to be like a moment where he's, where he's an asshole, where he's like, "Oh yeah, you're only doing this because you're trying to pay off a loan shark or something, and because you gambled your kid's inheritance away, something like that, where you find out he's kind of an asshole, and he's not. He never is. There's never the kind of bait and switch where he just turns out to be a jerk. He is genuinely a good guy. He's like, "Cool, here's my service. You're kind of in a spot, so you're going to have to sign it." But that's really kind of like his only moment of manipulation, I guess, where he's like, "You're going to need me, so go ahead and sign." And I thought there was going to be
Yeah.
like some fine print or something. No, he's just a good dude.
Yeah. I do really like enjoy his character.
Yeah.
Would you call him a noble idiot?
No, because he's not necessarily an idiot. Like, I kind of reserve that more for the Bill and
Okay.
Teds of the world.
All right, fair enough.
Like he's kind of
He definitely does have more smarts than
right.
those two idiots did, but
Yeah,
like,
so I mean, he's not necessarily dumb, I mean, he's been taken advantage of by Shang-Chi, but he's never, he acts with the best intentions, and he's not necessarily dumb. So I wouldn't call him a noble idiot.
all right,
He's
fair
just
enough.
a good dude. So,
And we love that for him.
I was really confused how Katie was completely unfamiliar with this lottery thing.
Dude, yeah. I was really confused with that. And like, she's trying to ask that bus driver, and the bus driver's like, "Stop fucking talking to me." And yet somehow she ends up with one of those little thingies, and it scanned her fingerprint in her pocket. Like, how did you get that? Where did it come from? How
Well,
did you not know about the lottery?
Right. Well, she got that because that was in her roommate's pants that she borrowed.
Oh, okay.
So
I didn't think of that. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how she got it, but I would still think that the roommate would be encoded to it.
Right?
But I for her to be like, "Oh, well, I grew up in whatever state I grew up in, and me and my mom and didn't watch a bunch of TV or whatever." This still seems like if this happened right now in California, it would be global news.
Yeah.
People
would like never shut up about it.
Right.
And I don't care like about the fact that she's like, "I'm taking care of my sick mom." Like, you have a phone, you have internet access. If you literally go onto like just a main page, it's going to be like, "Here's the top related news articles," and it's going to be like, "What the fuck is that? That's insane." Like, you look at like your Reddit feed or something like that. So yeah, that was definitely a weird little point in this movie.
Yeah.
But I like that her character is just like consistently like, "I don't know what's happening here. I'm just trying to like do my shit and go." And then eventually she was like, "I just want to like not win this money so I can like live and do whatever I need to,
Right. Yeah. Did you feel like this movie got to a point where it's like, "Hey, we can't afford anybody famous except for Machine Gun Kelly, because I felt like there was a bunch of cameos in here with like people, the one dude from The Office, and I think there was some other people. But it was like we blew our entire budget on John Cena and Aquafina and Machine Gun Kelly, and that's it. Because it seems like all these other roles were meant for other people, like the roommate role and boyfriend role and all of that. Like they were meant for other people. And then once it came around, it was like, yeah, we can't afford them. Let's get this person because they're significantly cheaper.
Yeah, I could see that happening. Yeah, her roommate was insane. And so was DJ. But like, oh wait, didn't she have like another one of those little things though? To like track her roommate? That wasn't DJ's? Because wouldn't he have one too? I'm confused.
I don't know.
Because when they want to win the lottery, so they'd be like, we have to have our thing.
Yeah.
And it's suspicious that Aquafina specifically put on that one outfit that would have the thing in her pocket. Sounds like a setup. That's all this movie is. It's just one big setup. Clearly. And then Aquafina and John Cena fall in love because now they have best friends. The end. I wrote a better movie. Thank you.
I mean, did
Sorry.
your movie still have Machine Gun Kelly in it? I mean,
No. I would take him out. 100%. Not a fan of him. What'd you think about that, when it gets to the point that they go to that, like, bigger safe zone, and they're like, yeah, you can pick one of these faces, and it's gonna transform you. And then she comes out as this old, like, Asian man, and she looks so good. Did you enjoy that?
I was kind of torn on it.
It was weird.
It
but
was
like, I
weird.
did like the facial prosthetic. It did look good.
Right, but at the same time, hearing Aquafina's voice come out of that, and I'm kind of torn because I don't know if that was offensive or not. I don't know if the only reason it's not offensive is because Aquafina put her face in there and an Asian man came out, or but it seemed like it was right on that edge of like,
Right.
is this offensive? I don't know if this is offensive. It seems like it should be. Like I should be mad about this, but I can't be because everyone's Asian in this in this scenario.
Yeah.
So,
They just like white chicked her.
yeah.
White chicked her.
So, oh, that must be my notes. I put, so did we see Coolio's betrayal coming? I don't know why in the world I put that. I must have been using my voice to text thing, and I'm trying to think that must have been his name, seemingly his name. I have to look it up because I'm so confused right now what his name was. Lewis? His name was Lewis. Why in the world? Oh,
Yes.
I put Simu Liu. I said that, and it interpreted that as Coolio. That's hilarious.
That's good.
My notes are wild. Yeah. How long did it take you to figure out that Simu Liu character was like a bad guy, like he was gonna flip? Because I almost pinged it right at the beginning. Was like, here's our list of winners, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, he's a bad guy.
Yeah. Dude, I did not like where they had that like big wall of like the gold coins of all the winners' faces. Those look weird as heck. I don't know if you actually looked at them, but I was like, some of these are not flattering. And
Yeah.
I, as a billionaire, would be upset that someone would post my face like this.
So there's one thing that I hate in certain movies is whenever they say like punny catchphrases. And they did it a couple times in this movie, and I just cannot figure. It drives me crazy. One of them was in the wax museum, and I think it was Katie said something like "keeping up with the Kardashians," and then like takes one of those janky Kardashian wax figures and busts somebody over the head. And then at the end, when we're in the big renovated theater and John Cena's tied up, and he goes, "It's turtle time." And you're like, "What do you mean? What are you talking about, man? This is not the right time." We've only talked about Ninja Turtles one other time in this movie. It is not turtle time, sir.
Hey, maybe he meant to say it's turbo time. You never know.
Yes.
He was actually thinking of the classic Christmas movie.
Yep.
Classic Christmas movie. Jingle All the Way. Sorry.
I need to write that down. We can watch it this year.
Movie.
I don't think
Dude.
I've ever seen it.
What? Dude, my grandfather freaking watches it throughout the whole year. He'll literally put it on like 20 times during December alone. Like he literally just like walks around and cleans stuff up and the movie's just blasting in the background. I've watched that movie way too many times, but yes, we should watch that.
Okay. It's on the list.
Thank God.
So, coming towards the end of this movie, when I feel like it's too hard nowadays for my brain when people are like, "Oh man, you've only got 5 minutes left to go do something." And then the rest of the movie is like 30 minutes long. Or they're clearly somewhere where it's going to take them more than the time that they say they have left to get to where they need to go.
Mm-hmm.
When Katie is going towards the border and she's about to cross the border, it's like, "You got 15 minutes left or I'm going to kill John Cena." And she's like, "Okay, I'm coming to save him." And then she drives to the theater and I'm like, "Okay, it's probably going to take her 15 minutes to get back to the theater." But then they have like a 20-minute long fight scene in the theater.
Yeah.
Like, it should be over with by now.
Like the whole time John Cena's like, "You got 2 minutes. You got 60 seconds.
Right.
And it's like, how long is your version of 60 seconds? As she like falls ever so gracefully and slowly. It was interesting to see that they had like people that were like cheering for Katie to like make it through. Like people were like, "We don't want the money. We're just here to support her." Because like when you think of it, especially living in LA, which is probably expensive as anything. Jesus, I don't ever want to think about living in LA. But like, wouldn't those people need the money? Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's just
saying.
Maybe it's just kind of gotten to the point now where it's like, good game, buddy.
That old lady, that she like.
The old lady,
bro.
Oh my God.
Freaking love that lady. I love that she was literally like, "Oh, you're an actress? What have you been in?" And she was like, "You probably wouldn't know." And the old lady's like, "Oh, if it's not basically a Hallmark Christmas movie, then I don't know who you are." Which is insane to think like you would know who anyone in most Hallmark Christmas movies are, because it's always like random actresses and actors.
Right. What do you think about all the fun stuff they did with their money afterwards?
Yo, mega yacht? That's legit.
It seemed very have you ever seen that movie Zoolander?
Yes.
Where they open up as like, "Oh, Katie's Institute for something for what was
Yeah,
it, actors or
for
something. I can't.
for kids with shitty parents or something like that.
Right.
That was good. I really like that she was like, fuck it, I'm just open something like this up. That's appreciative.
And honestly, I thought the outtakes were funnier than the rest of the movie.
Dude, the outtakes were so good.
The
I was like
outtakes were
about to turn it
fantastic.
off and they just kept rolling. And I was like, you know what? Whatever. I'm gonna sit here and watch this.
Right.
I really enjoyed those.
Oh.
Anyways,
All right. You got anything else you want to say about Jackpot before we move on?
nah, we're good.
All right. Rock and roll, man. Let's move on to my favorite part of the week. We talk about little things that made us happy. And we actually got 2 weeks to cover, but I'm only going to make you mention one thing, Raven. So why don't you go ahead and tell me what has made you happy this week?
Well, technically, I'm the reason we didn't record last week because I had forgotten that I had family coming into town. My aunt, my oldest cousin, and my youngest cousin's fiance all came to Knoxville because they were basically doing like, they drove from the Carolinas and were like looking at wedding venues, and they found one here in Knoxville that they've decided upon, and it was just really nice to get to like see all of them. And I'm so excited for their wedding. It's going to be a fun time. It's not until next year, but like, you know, it was just a nice little time to see them, get to have food with them, because I don't really get to see that side of my family very much. But yeah, that made me really happy last week. What about you,
Awesome.
Mark?
Um, I have been watching this show on a service called Dropout. And Dropout TV used to be
Yeah.
what was called College Humor back in
Yeah.
the day, and now it's Dropout. And they do a lot of D&D content, amongst other things. Like, honestly, I think one of my favorite shows as of right now is on there. It's a show called Game Changer. It is phenomenal. Me and Alice love to watch it. We watch a lot of the content that's on Dropout. Anyway, they are doing a D&D style campaign right now called Never Stop Blowing Up, and it is for the lack of better terms, it's a D&D tabletop game that they do a live play of that is based on 80s action movies. And it is
Ooh.
so ridiculous and fun, and just, I mean, for me, watching people play a tabletop game, and I am literally just laughing out loud. It is that much fun. It's great. You need to go check it out, man. It is just probably the most fun TV I've had to watch. It is well worth the $50 it cost me per year to subscribe to this. I mean,
That's not bad.
me and Alice get psyched up when a new season or a new show for that matter, comes out, and we're like, oh man, new Game Changer out, new Make Some Noise, or new whatever. And yeah, it's worth it, man. It's great. So
Nice.
that's what's up, man. Raven, why don't you please tell everybody where they can find you on the interwebs?
You guys can find me on Instagram at That's So Raven Ellis, or over on the Twitterverse at spooky_Raven. You can also find this lovely little podcast called Nerd for No Reason. Just look it up on whatever social media you feel like, and we're probably there.
Yep. We may or may not update it too much, but we're there, I promise.
Trust me, we hang out
Yeah.
on the internet.
To be fair, I should probably update it more, but I get kind of I get kind of caught up doing other stuff, and then I just forget about it. So yeah.
Life moves fast. You gotta, I can't remember the rest of the quote. I was quoting Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Anyways, Mark, where are you at?
Let's see. I am on all of those same social media platforms under at Turtles Do It. So do that. It's real simple. I try to keep it the same across the board. So yeah, at Turtles Do It. Hit me up. Shoot me a message. I love you guys. I'm so glad to be recording this. I think, Raven, I'm going to spring this on you now because I just did some math while we were doing our social media housekeeping. Do you want to start Twilight next week?
Oh. Whew.
Because
oh my gosh.
that will lead us, if we do a movie a week, that'll lead us right into spooky season.
I think you just spoke the magic words to me.
Okay.
Thank God. I get to watch Twilight again this year.
So yes?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Awesome.
So get excited, people. We're going to twi-hard it up.
Yeah, we are. And I get to figure out if I am Team Edward or Team Jacob or Team Renesmee. I'm going to have strong feelings about this movie. I might actually make the kids watch it. Because this was like our plan from the beginning of the year. We were going to talk about 2 movie series this year, and it was going to be Fast and Furious, and it was going to be Twilight. And we pushed Twilight back a little bit because we both kind of agreed, like, this is a fall movie. And, yeah, so here we are. We've hit fall time.
God bless.
I'm so excited.
Perfect.
All right, everybody. Go and do something wonderful in the world today. I love you guys.
Guys, go ingest all the coolest, newest, rarest medias around, and we'll see you again next week at the Nerd for No Reason podcast. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for listening to the Nerd for No Reason podcast. You can find us on all major social media platforms at Nerd for No Reason. Our podcast music is Memories in 8-Bit by Deanna Joan, a.k.a. Fergie's Human. You can follow her on Twitter at Deanna Joan Music and check out her other social media links in the show notes of our podcast.